I think unfortunately, a lot of parents and a lot of fathers project either their failures or their hopes for their life onto their kids.
And I think that's where so much friction is caused between parents. And that's why, like, I will, again, until I have no breath in my lungs, give all the credit with that, my success as an athlete to my parents.
Yeah.
Because my parents could have cared less if I went 5 for 5 with 5 homers, if I struck out 5 times.
Right.
Did not matter. Yeah. I got treated the same when I got in the car, after the game, after practice, whatever, as long as I was giving my full effort.
Yeah.
The Mark Bigg Show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Mark Bigg Show. Super excited to have one of my best friends in the world on the podcast today. And the guy that's usually the magic behind the camera. And so we're going to flip the script, and we're pulling Nick Lawson out from behind the camera and giving him a chance to share his story and a little bit about his journey today. Nick, super happy to have you on this side of the camera.
Oh, yeah. Mark, appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So I tell the story all the time about how the first time that we were setting this up, you were like, hey, yeah, I'm all in to help. And we had the room set up, and as you can probably feel right now, it's just a little different when you're on this side, having the lights and the cameras and all that. So
yes, it
you
is.
had it all set up, walked in the room. I was like, whoa, okay, this is different. Never done this before. And then he's like, all right, go. Hits record and just sits there. And I was like, whoa. Wait a second. You're sitting in here? And so, like, that was just like my first, like, freak out moment. I was like, all right, well, I got to regroup because I wasn't ready for all that. But here we go. So how's it feel to be out on this side of the camera?
Good. Different pressure for sure.
Yep.
Before we do get started, though, I do want to say I appreciate you having me on, but also for this, to be doing it over a year, I'm extremely proud that you have done it this long and consistent.
Thanks, man.
It shows me that you are committed to doing it long term, and I love that. I love being a part of it, even though I'm behind the camera most of the time.
Yeah.
I love getting to see you do this and to watch you grow in this craft, which is different from your profession. Yeah. And for those of you all that don't know it or don't see it, Mark does this pretty consistently, which is hard to do whenever you're doing a full-time job.
It really is.
So I appreciate you doing that. I'm extremely proud of you for sticking with it. And I look forward to this episode, but also continuing on and seeing what this thing grows into.
For sure. Well, I know that it wouldn't have went this long and done these things without you. So thank you to you as well. And that's kind of one of the things we talked about up front is like, hey, if we're going to take the time to commit to this, like, we got to commit. And if we're going to, put the investment in to buy the equipment and do all this stuff, I had to know that me personally, I was ready because just like you being a dad and a husband and having all the different things and hats that you wear with work and, with church and everything else, like there's always going to be a reason that you couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
Or a reason to say, not this time, we'll just skip this one or whatever.
Yeah.
And so before I even started it, I wanted to make sure that like my mind was in the right space that like, hey, whether you have a guest, whether you don't, like you've got an idea, you're prepared, and you walk into it knowing the message that you want to convey and be committed to it, or else there's no point in doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, we had, no joke, we had conversations for 2 years before you started this.
And that's what, a lot of people don't know that. You do.
Right.
You've been there since day one with that, but a lot of people don't know that. And that's like, I had this idea for a while, but it was like, I just knew in my head, my mind wasn't in the right place.
Right.
I wasn't going to commit to it.
Right.
It's just going to be one of them things that I tried for a bit and then fizzled out. I don't want that.
Right. And kudos to you for doing that, because 9 times out of 10, most people feel that little burst of energy, that little bit of inspiration. They're like, oh, we're doing it. We're starting now. And then 6 months into it or 6 weeks into it even, they're like, all right, I can't handle the amount of commitment that this takes, the amount of time that it's taking out of my day, out of my energy. I just don't. It takes a lot to be able to plan these, to schedule them, to sit down, to do them.
Because we're both busy.
Oh, absolutely.
You're trying to coordinate that around a guest who's also busy. If we're having a guest on that one, and a lot of times, and you've made it work well where the guest isn't even in this room.
Yeah.
They may be in a different state. And so that's been, there's challenges with everything. But, at the end of the day, the whole point for me and for you and I doing this together is to just provide value.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the same mentality as we do. Not everybody has the same background as we do. And that's kind of the beautiful thing that we've hit on in all these episodes about sports.
Yeah.
You're in a locker room with people that they didn't grow up like you. They don't speak like you. They don't look like you. They don't think like you. But you're there for a common goal, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the whole point, is to add value to whoever does stop in and watch this, whether it grows to anything or not. Like, that's not the goal for me.
Right.
If this reaches one person and makes their day better, they can learn something. That's the whole goal.
Adds value to different perspectives.
That's it. And so I think that's why I wanted you on too, is because you have a great story, you have a great background, you have a great family, You've done different things, which I respect so much because so many people don't take the time to just try new things.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Nick would never say this, but I call him like a Renaissance man. So anything Nick touches, he's good at. You guys can tell already he's well-spoken. He's a handsome dude. He can hit a golf ball a country mile. He's good at basketball. He can sing like no other. I mean, there's just nothing that I've seen that you can excel at.
You've never seen me play video games.
Well, there you go. So there's the one thing. I don't play video games very much myself. For that reason, I'm not very good either.
Me either.
But I always tell people Nick's like a Renaissance man. Like, he's good at whatever he pours his heart into. And I think that's just who you are. It's your character. You're a good person, number one. And so I'm interested to hear, like, what perspective you may have that, like, knowing kind of how the situations are set with this podcast, how the episodes kind of go, you know, kind of where I'm going to start is kind of give me your background story. So I'm interested to hear what you feel is top of mind, important for people to know about you and what you've been through and where you've come from and where you're at now. So
yeah.
With that.
Yeah. So I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, originally born and raised, lived in a somewhat impoverished side of town of Louisville, out on the south side, from whenever I was born until middle school. I come from a family of two parents who are still married, incredible parents. Love my mom and dad, shout out. I have an older brother, 6 years older, and then an older sister who is 14 months older than me.
Okay.
All of us. I am the baby, obviously the best, as everyone knows.
And the fan favorite always. The baby's always a favorite.
Oh, of course. But yeah, me and my siblings, we butted heads a lot growing up, especially me and my sister, but we were just attached at the hip, you know. Nobody was going to fight them the same way that I was going to fight them. Nobody was going to make me cry the same way they made me cry.
100%.
But grew up there. We moved out my middle school year, the first year of middle school, moved over to the east side of Louisville, out into Middletown, switched up schools, and that changed the trajectory of my life.
In what way?
At that point, so from whenever I was born until we moved, we were very Pentecostal in the church. Okay. We were going every Sunday, every Wednesday. It was very driven into my mind that, hey, we're getting dressed to the nines, we're going to church, you're going to shake a tambourine, you're going to run your butt around the room, throw your hands up, you're going to scream while you're at church. Sure. And then
from an old Methodist kid, that scares the crap out of me, just throwing that out there. Go ahead.
It scares the crap out of a lot of people. But something happened with my parents. I was in middle school, so I don't really know the whole backstory. So my dad got transferred positions at work. He went from he went to the Kentucky truck plant from LAP, the Louisville assembly plant for Ford. He's worked at Ford my entire life. Yep. And whenever he got transferred, we moved out there to Middletown because of the way that the church hurt them. And church hurt's a very real thing to many people.
It is.
Unfortunately, there's a big separation between your relationship with God and religion. So the church somehow ended up hurting my parents. And because of that, we kind of stopped going to church.
Like all together, or just to the Pentecostal church?
Mostly all together. Okay. We kind of stopped going to church. I became a member at Southeast Christian Church, very, very massive church in Louisville. But I mostly became a member because they had a sick indoor gym. They had a gym with 4 indoor courts, a track around the top, a gym, like a workout room. And I went up there every day after school and played basketball with my friends. And it was a cool thing to do. But from middle school until after college, I did not have a relationship with God. And I think that is what shifted whenever we moved out there and we stopped going to the Pentecostal church, which I'm extremely thankful for, because I think that growing up the way that we did, going to that Pentecostal church, I think it was more of a routine than it was a relationship.
And we can all get there, right? I mean, with any type of relationship, you can always get in that routine to where it's not a concerted effort on both ends. Mm-hmm. And so it does become routine. Yep. And that can be friendships, that can be marriages, that can be relationships with God, that can be friendships. I mean, all those different things come back to that. Mm-hmm. But one thing I do want to highlight, knowing who you are now, before you continue, is that I always think that people that have the foundation, in the Bible somewhere, I don't know the exact scripture, it says, they'll waver away, but they'll also eventually come back, right? And I think there's so many stories of people that I know, both, on an interpersonal level, like I know you, and just people that I have heard stories about, that they have that time period, whether it's a 6-month time period or a 12-year time period. Right. It doesn't really matter. If you've got that foundation, you'll eventually find your way back, right? Yeah. And so I think that speaks to your parents taking the time and effort to take you to church every Sunday, regardless. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it built a foundation for us, which was an incredible way for a kid to understand, hey, you should read the Bible. Hey, you should talk to God.
This matters.
It was just the way that it was perceived, or the way that it was projected to me, that was not something that I wanted to stick with. Once we switched churches, I was like, cool, we're done. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So went out middle school, high school, most of college, partied, had fun. I grew up my entire life playing baseball, same way that you did. In high school, for the first time, right before my junior year started, I picked up a golf club for the first time. I wish I would have picked it up when I was 2.
If so, there's no telling where we'd be right now. We'd probably be sitting at the Masters or something watching you play.
That'd be insane. But who knows? I'm glad where God placed me.
Oh, 100%.
So switched over. I quit in high school because me and my coach butted some heads in baseball, and then immediately tried out for golf. So I played golf.
What year was that for you? Sophomore, freshman?
In between the summer of my sophomore and junior year.
Got it.
Picked up a golf club right after I quit baseball. Had played baseball from 4 all the way until then. My dad coached me all the way up.
So let me ask you this real quick. Then was it like, did you know someone that played golf? Like, what pushed you to golf?
Yeah, I had a buddy from high school that was like, you need to come play golf. And I was like,
whoever that guy is, I need to talk to him.
Yeah, right?
he started something that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so for the longest time, I thought he was lame for playing golf.
Yeah.
Because obviously, whenever you're in baseball, you're in the dugout with your boys, you're in the locker room. It's a whole different vibe.
100%.
You get out onto a golf course, it's you in your head.
Yep.
It's you by yourself. It's you competing against you.
Yep.
And it's a whole different thing than being in a team sport. And whenever I got out there, I saw that you can just grip it and rip it, which is where I learned to just absolutely smoke the ball.
That's it.
It came naturally from a baseball swing, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, dude, I'm playing this all the time. So I played the entire summer, tried out my junior year, made the varsity team, played junior and senior year, almost walked on at Western, but decided not to because, like I said, my family, they are incredible and I love them, but we didn't grow up hurting for anything.
Sure.
Same thing that you always say. We didn't hurt for anything, but we didn't have it made.
Sure.
I had to work jobs in high school and in college.
Same.
I had to work for everything that I wanted. And because of that, I had to work a job whenever I came to college. You can't play college sports and have a job,
There's not enough
unfortunately.
time in the day.
Right, because it is its own job.
It is.
It takes its own dedication, its own commitment. So I decided to come to Western Kentucky after visiting here, UK, and Louisville.
Okay.
So I got approved at all 3 and was going to go to UK. I knew that I wanted to get out of Louisville just to get away.
I get that.
I don't know what it was. There was just something that, and it may have been that not having a relationship with God was like, dude, you just need to get away and go figure out yourself for a while.
100%.
So came to Western and absolutely loved it.
What was the deciding factor, if you don't mind me asking, for Western versus like UK or U of L?
Well, at the time, it was a girl that came down here.
Yeah, there you go.
A girl that came from my high school that I was chasing down here and came here. We dated for a little bit in college and then ended up breaking up.
Yep.
And but that's what drew me here compared to any of the other schools. Cool. Also, tuition was a little bit cheaper here than it was UK.
Yep.
It was outside of Louisville, so it was all just the deciding factors that played into me coming here. And
that's what a lot of people don't know about, my recruitment story coming from, a school in Kentucky. My top 2 schools were U of L, which I ended up committing to and signing with, letter of intent anyways, and then Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of state with Vanderbilt, even though it's 45 minutes down the road.
Right.
My family can't afford that. So I got a very strong scholarship offer from a baseball perspective because they don't do full rides typically, but my family couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, at the end of the day, if it was like the same playing field I could have went for free, I probably would have committed to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Still probably would have took the path that I took, but
right.
Money with tuition is always a deciding factor.
Oh, absolutely.
When you come from a blue collar type family,
exactly,
it just is what it is.
Yeah, whenever you don't get the world handed to you, and you don't just, which is great for some kids who get to go take advantage of that and get a great degree to where they can build a career on top of that. More power to you. I love that. I hope to do that for my kids one day.
100%. But I wouldn't trade this path that I've taken. I'm sure you'd say the same.
Absolutely.
For anything in the world.
Absolutely. Like you said, I'm the only reason that I am a Renaissance man and am good at so many things that I put my mind to is because of the work ethic that I've had.
That's all it is.
And it came from being in that blue collar family where my parents taught me that I'm going to work.
And they don't have to tell you that you're going to work. You watch them go to work every single day, regardless of. And that's what I tell my parents all the time, or my mom all the time, is like, it's so cool to have thought back and remembered, like, all right, Saturday morning it's basketball season.
Yep.
Saturday morning we got a game at 10 o'clock. My parents have to work on Saturdays because they're like working at a grocery store that never closes.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, well, I've got to be at this game at this time. I'm going to go in at like 3 a.m. and I'm going to work so many hours up until I leave and go to the game, and then I'm going to go back and finish the last couple hours of the shift. Like, they didn't say that. They just did it.
Yeah.
So little things like that, and seeing that day in and day out, you're like, okay, that's just part of who we are. We got to work. We got to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got to go to work. Regardless of what the work looks like.
Right.
Whatever that you get, you're going to earn, and you're going to work for it. And I think it helps you appreciate stuff a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember every single year, and I always hated whenever they said it, but my parents every year at Christmas would say, we wish we could have got you more. Every single year. And they got us plenty. They got us a ton.
Probably too much, honestly.
Right. And it wasn't, the top tier best gifts ever in the world, but it was exactly, I didn't want the best gifts in the world and the most expensive things. I wanted love.
I wanted your family.
I wanted my family to be around me. I wanted genuine time with them. And but I remember that specifically. And yes, because of them, that is where I got the work ethic that I had. So
did you start playing music in college?
Yeah.
Had you always done that too?
Well, so I picked up a guitar in high school, also because of a girl. I was like, look,
this just pisses me off because everything he just picks up, he's just like, oh, this is good. Blah, 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 blah. I wish you guys could hear him sing if you have it. It's unbelievable.
I promise you, whenever I first started a guitar, I sucked.
Yeah.
Absolutely sucked.
I can't even hold it right, so good for you. I'm just not musically or artistically inclined at all, so I respect it so much.
Yeah, it takes a whole different dedication. I mean, I got good at it in college because I played it all the time. And actually, whenever I came to college, that's what I did for. So I had a couple different jobs. Worked for Jimmy John's for a little bit, and then worked at a different restaurant. And then after that, I started playing music more consistently, and I started playing at all the bars in college. And that's what I did for 3 years. I played bars 3-4 nights a week, getting paid a few $100 every single one of them. Plus for a college kid. Yeah. So for a college kid, it was great. But unfortunately, at that time, still running a wild life, not having a relationship with God, every single one of those bar gigs that I was playing, they gave me an open tab.
Yeah.
So I was up there drinking my butt off, playing music, being, just stupid with what I was doing and getting hammered every night. Yep. And it came to a point to where I really started to hate playing music, and I really
because it was associated with that.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's how I got into music, was mostly through high school, and then played a lot in college. But from those experiences of playing in the bars and just taking it the wrong direction, I fell out of love with it, which sucked because at a point in college, my idea and my thought for my career and my life was going to be to move out west and to play music.
That'd be awesome.
Because I loved writing music. I loved playing. I loved going down. I went down to Nashville and played a bunch of writers' nights. I played a few bars down in Nashville. And it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. But then whenever it turned into me drinking all the time, and me using it to pay my bills, it felt more like a job. And I was going down this dark rabbit hole to where I started to hate the stuff that I was writing. I started to hate the thoughts that I was having about music. I just didn't like the fact that I was drinking myself into a dark hole. And I didn't like that.
Yeah, 100%. So let me ask you this then. So what, at that point, where was the, a lot of people talk about like what you call a rock bottom moment. I don't know if you had that or not, but like where was the time where you were like, okay, I'm associating music, which is something I actually naturally am good at and enjoy, with drinking and this feeling that I don't like. I don't like what I'm thinking. I don't like who I'm becoming. Like, how did that shift for you?
So senior year in college, I was majoring in marketing and sales.
Okay.
I got a sales internship where I went out to North Carolina.
Okay.
I went door to door selling pest control.
Heck yeah.
Hardest
Drop
job
you in the middle of North Carolina.
Literally.
Have fun, Bubby.
One of the hardest jobs I've ever had, and for a redhead in the middle of the summer in South Carolina.
Was roasting out there.
Oh, dude. Or I was in North Carolina, sorry. It was, dude, I was getting sunburnt every day. But going door to door doing that, also out there with a bunch of other college guys who came from all over the U.S. to do the same internship.
Sure.
So we were going out making sales all day long. I was crushing it. Found out that I was really good at communicating with people. If you can knock on someone's door and convince them to believe in whatever it is that you're portraying, whether it's a product, a service, exactly. And this was, it was pest control. It was getting rid of their bugs in their house. For some people, that's a major problem, but for some people, it's like, hey, I'm busy. I'm doing other stuff.
Get out of my face.
Especially for those that are there at home during the day, because half the time those people are working from home. You're interrupting them.
Yep.
And I found out that I was really skilled in that, and I absolutely loved sales since then. But while I was out there, I remember one day my mom called me and said that my older brother, who has struggled in his life also with alcoholism and addiction, she said that he had OD'd, which now he is thankfully recovered and alive and doing extremely well, working a great job, going to church. I'm extremely proud of you, bro.
I love you, Drew.
Yeah, but she called me and was like, hey, your brother's not looking good. You should probably come home. So I dropped all my stuff, didn't even go back to the apartment I was staying at, and I just hit the road. After a few hours on the road, I was somewhere in between North Carolina and Kentucky, and I was just driving through the mountains. And I just remember this moment where like I just couldn't see because I was crying, and my eyes were just so watery and blurry that I literally stopped and I pulled over in the emergency lane. I got out, and I was crying on the side of a highway. And I remember for the first time since middle school that I asked God, I was like, God, if you're real, do something. Like, save my brother and show me a different way to live. Because at the same time, like I said earlier, I was playing music and I was drinking all the time. But also, whenever I went out there for that internship, we were going out making sales every day and then every night at the bar.
Sure.
So I was also going down a dark path myself where I didn't know which direction I wanted to go.
Sure.
You know, I was filling that void of fulfillment in my life with drinking and fun and partying. Yeah, exactly.
That's so hard because there's so many people, especially in that range of life. And I remember being there myself. I was 18 years old. My dad just passed away. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jays just handed me a lot of money. I was a professional athlete. You're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a career path in front of me, obviously. So a lot of people struggle with that. The career path's there, but it's like, I'm an 18-year-old kid. What do I do? I don't know how to deal with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of pressure.
It is, and that's. But I don't. The thing is, it sounds like so cliche because you're feeling a void. But when you're in it, you don't feel like you're feeling a void. It's easy to look back and say it because it's true.
Yeah, and I think also in the middle of it, I found myself in like a routine.
Yep.
I was like, it doesn't feel like a void because I know that I'm going to go work my butt off.
Yep.
Afterwards, I'm going to go hang out at the pool for maybe an hour or two, and then I'm going to go get ready and go out with the boys. That's it. I was like, this is just that's life.
And I'm working. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
That's the hard part, I think, is for some people to switch that part off to understand that, like, you are feeling a void.
Right.
And, you know, I still, drink occasionally here, there, and yonder, but it's like, it's just different than it was then.
Right.
And I partake too much at times, just like the rest of us do.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to act like it's just something that I'm, perfect at. So hear me when I say that.
Yeah.
But it's different than it was then because it's like, you know who you are, and you know how to control the limits. You know how to like, hey, I probably, had a little too much, then I probably should chill out on that. Just different things like that. So, excuse me, my point is like, I don't know how to convey to someone that's like 18, 19, 20, 22, 42, that you are feeling a void by doing that. And I don't know how to get them to shift that. So that's why I was curious what it was that shifted it. And sometimes it's like a moment like that where you have no other answers but to look up. Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so how do you respond?
So unfortunately, most people, they do make that big change in life, whatever it is for them, whenever they do find some type of rock bottom. You asked earlier what was my rock bottom, and that was it for sure. Was noticing that I was not living a good life, filling a void, not having any purpose or fulfillment, and then getting that call about my brother, it destroyed me. So I asked God, I was like, look, if you're real, do something in my life. And immediately after that, he just started to change the way that I saw things. He changed my perspective on the exact same things that I was doing. He didn't, change my entire life. Like all my friends were calling out on me and nobody was able to go to the bars with me. It was every time I got a call that was, hey, come over. We're chilling. We're doing a pre-party before we go out or whatever. I just had this heaviness on my heart that it was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. I don't think that is good for me.
Yep.
Nor do I want to do that to my mind, to my body. And from that, whenever I came back home, I quit playing the bar gigs. I quit playing music. That essentially dropped the dream of moving out west and playing music because I was like, look, I can't be tied to music and drinking. And at the same time, I was trying to find a relationship with God. And so I started looking for a job. Me and one of my college roommates, we went and sat on the patio of Donato's Pizza. Sitting out there, and Spence came, took our order, gave us some pizza. It was my first time ever meeting him. And we just talked for a while. He was a cool dude.
Yep.
And I remember being like, dude, are y'all hiring? Or he asked, I asked him if they were hiring, and he was like, yeah, we're always hiring good people. And I was like, dude, I'm good people. And he just laughed, and he was like, dude, you're hired. And I literally started 2 days later.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
then
most
from
Spence thing I've
that,
ever heard, to be honest with you.
dude, yeah, that's Spence to a T. I mean, the man is just, he's a great human being, always just giving. He's always just giving something to people. But from that, I started working at Donato's, finished out my senior year of college while I was working at Donato's, just making pizzas. Started at the register, worked my way up into manager, then GM, and then oversaw a few different stores. But while I was there, I really started to learn not just the sales side and being able to speak to people, but the hospitality side of what it means to serve.
Yep.
And at that same exact time, right next door, FHG, that Tyler and Casey owns, Casey actually approached me and was like, hey, man, I go to this really small church. I know you play music and you play guitar. Do you want to come lead worship with us? And at that point, I was like, dude, I ain't heard worship music since I was in 6th grade. And it was like, take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. So it was like completely different from like what we hear nowadays.
Yep.
And I was like, sure, man, I'll give it a run. I mean, I've been playing at bars, and let's see what happens.
I can do it, probably. Let's go.
Right. So I started going to church with him. At the time, it was called Ecclesia on the Hill, pastored by Tim Brown, great family. And then it got switched into the Corner, which is what it was called, and it was great. I started doing that. And while I was still working at Donato's and playing worship music at this really small church, I met my wife. She came in the front door of Donato's one day while I was behind the counter, and that's how we met. Mm-hmm. And I felt like at that point, that's whenever God was like, Bowling Green's where you're going to stay. Because I had no plans of staying in Bowling Green. Like I said, I fell in love with it in college.
But just pursuing opportunities that come to you and that kind of thing at that point.
Right, but planning on moving out west and then falling out of that love for music. Whenever I met my wife and she came in and we started talking and started hanging out, I felt like God was like, look, Bowling Green's where it's going to be for you.
Shout out Kristen Lawson.
Amen. Love you, honey. I definitely married way too good for me, and God has blessed me tremendously. Same for you.
Oh, everybody would agree with that.
But yeah, after that, I just saw that God was putting things on my heart and shaping my life and surrounding me with people that were also like-minded, that had a faith background. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the biggest things from your last podcast that I took away from Doug Gorman, was that surround yourself with good people.
100%.
It's not always just surround yourself with successful people and
not
CEOs and CFOs and the executives at these big companies or whatever it is that you're trying to do. It is great to surround yourself with that. And I think that helps you, but you also have to surround yourself full circle with the people that pour into your life.
100%.
And I think that comes with people who are faith-based, that have their own struggles and see the need for a relationship with God.
The thing is, I think when you connect with somebody that it's a true connection, like when it's a real friendship, mm-hmm. is you see them not for like who they are or what they do or what they can do for you.
Yeah.
But it's like actually who that person is, like who the character of that person is. Mm-hmm. And then that is where the connection comes in. And that's where I think so many relationships, whether it be friendships or whatever, fail, is because they're expecting something from someone.
Right.
Even if they're faith-based, even if they're successful, even if they're XYZ, they have their own struggles. Uh-huh. They've had their own experiences, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
And they're a human too. And humans need connection. And I think that's the whole point of like, to your point about surrounding yourself with good people, it's not just successful people. That's such a key statement. Like that hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's got to be a person that's grounded, that is a good person, has good intentions, even if they're completely different. Your intentions and my intentions are completely different, but we both know that they're good.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we both see each other for who we are as a friend. And that's why I think we have a friendship.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is what changes your relationships from transactional to something that is real. Mm-hmm. Whenever you stop looking at people as, hey, I'm going to surround myself with the most successful people so I can get what I want out of them, instead of seeing how you can serve and you can help others and you can make someone else's life better, that's whenever you become valuable to somebody else. You can gain a good relationship not just by what you can get out of them, but what you can provide to someone else.
I think that's what provides the ultimate fulfillment, right? Because the humans need connection. Like, we need the friendships, we need those things. So when you figure out that you're valuable to someone else, and then you can figure out what you can offer to that person to make their day better, not because you're looking for something in return,
right?
But just because. That's where I think the true fulfillment comes from. With any career, any relationship, it's actually the servant side of things, not just what can I get from whoever's standing across from me.
Exactly.
And that's what I think people are good at business or good at sales. That's when they become great, is when they understand, like, whether I'm selling a piece of property, whether I'm selling a tool, whether I'm selling a service, whatever the case may be, if I can connect with that person, figure out how I can best serve them, not what I can sell them, how can I serve them?
Right.
That's where the good becomes great. Because there's great salespeople that are just, they're transactional.
Right.
They're great.
Right.
At what they do. But to have, like, that true meaning, that true fulfillment, that true purpose, like, you got to figure out how you can serve people, what that calling is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that because of all that, at my time and at Donato's and gaining those relationships and seeing how God was shaping my heart, I think that's where he led me now, which is into real estate and being able to truly help and to serve other people who are looking to do something substantial in their life. Real estate is a great means of investing. It's a great means of, income for me. It's a great living and a great career to have. But it allows me to be able to build a relationship with someone and to help them do something that they need help doing because they don't know the knowledge themselves.
Yep. And they're proud of it at the end of the day. Once they
absolutely
follow through with that transaction and had your guidance and help to get there, they're proud of themselves for being able to accomplish that.
Absolutely.
That's got to be some fulfillment for you, I would assume.
Oh, for sure. I mean, with first-time home buyers, watching them at the closing table for the very first time, it's an incredible feeling because you know that you just helped someone who wanted to do something, maybe possibly the biggest purchase of their entire life, and you just helped them walk alongside them to understand the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, to look at different houses, to figure out their finances, to say, this is a smart move, this is not a smart move. You are helping them and shaping their life, because wherever they go and wherever you help them to buy their first home, you're not just helping them buy a house, you're helping them to find a home and to build a home.
It's a beautiful thing.
So I think that God has done a beautiful job, and I'm so blessed that he has shaped my life in a way that allows me to build relationships, to connect with people, to be able to creatively build my career, which I'm so thankful for. But he also allows me to just build incredible relationships.
That's the best thing about it. And that's the best thing about me personally in the business that I'm in. I have great clients. I have great relationships with my clients. Now, are there clients that we're transactional with just because that's the relationship that they need? Of course, we sell a service.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some.
Right.
But having the ability to connect and go deep with so many of our clients is what truly, like, it fires me up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you're just chasing the money, if you're just chasing the next sale, that money's going to fizzle out. Like, it's just, you're chasing a dollar sign. Like,
absolutely.
That becomes old for anyone, regardless of how much at any point in time. You know, you talk to a single parent that's struggling to put food on the table and pay the bills. They're chasing the next dollar sign. They're struggling mentally. You look at someone that's very successful from a financial standpoint, but they have no fulfillment. They got a great business, or they have a big sales number or whatever. They're chasing the next dollar sign too, and they're not fulfilled either.
Yeah, and that's why you got to build those relationships. Because if you don't build the deep, meaningful relationships, then it's just transactional. And from that, you're not going to get any clients that are going to be repeat clients of your business, that are going to help.
Business.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a huge thing with being able to serve your community, like serving people that are building the community around you, building your life. Why would you not want to help them as well?
100%. And let me ask you this. One of the things I've always respected about you is the ability to, when you have made career changes, is to not be afraid to jump. Where do you think that comes from? Because that's one of the things I respect about you from a professional standpoint more than most.
Honestly, it's all faith.
Yeah.
It has all been faith in knowing that God is going to provide. Whether I, hit rock bottom financially or relationally or whatever it may be, that one day I'm sitting on a curb and that's the best that I've ever got. If I have a relationship with God, That's one-on-one to where, I may not be the best Christian in the world. I'm still a sinner. I'm still going to make mistakes. But if I've got my own relationship with God, that I can talk to him daily and feel comfortable knowing that he's got whatever path that I'm on, that's the faith where I'm like, dude, I'll jump off a mountain if he asks me to.
That's so cool.
Which is, whenever I left Donato's, like I had no idea what my next job was.
I remember we talked about it.
Yeah, I just know that God was like, dude, you're going to do something different. I was newly married, starting to try to build a family, and God was like, dude, you're going to do something else other than this. And I said, okay. So I quit my job and found another job 2 weeks later in technology sales, did that for a few years, and that transitioned into real estate. And same thing with real estate. I got my license last year, and at the beginning of this year, starting with BHG Realty, shout out to all y'all, I gave myself 6 months. I was like, I'm going to do this in 6 months and hope that within those 6 months I can transition, and just with that same faith-based belief that I can do it. Within 4 months, God was like, look, if you're going to do it full time,
Let's go.
And he's just opened up door after door. And it's just been so many beautiful opportunities because of the willingness to be able to jump.
That's the beautiful thing, because so many people may have those opportunities waiting on the other side, but they won't jump to go see them.
Right.
So that's a testament to you and your faith.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me how, as you've transitioned through careers at this point, what does being a father change about your mentality, whether it be personally, professionally, all the things?
Being a father, man, it changes. I think it just changes my heart. My perspective on life has changed just because it's just fun. Like, it's just fun. We have a 2-year-old right now. We've got one on the way, due on Halloween, which is going to be great.
October, baby. Come on.
Can't wait for a second little boy. Oh, I love it. My birthday's in October as well, and our anniversary. And there's just a lot in October.
My mom, my brother, there's a bunch. Sister-in-law.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. But, man, being a dad has just changed my heart in a way that I just look at another little human and I'm like, look, I don't have to have a regimen for you. I don't have to have a schedule and say, you're going to be the best Christian I've ever met. You're going to be the best man I ever known because I do this for you. I do this for you. I look at this little kid and I love him so much that I just want him to enjoy life. Yep. I want him to enjoy it. Yes, he's going to have struggles, but I want him to know that he can trust in God's plan for him. Same thing with the faith-based and taking a jump myself. I want my son to have that courage as well. I want him to be confident in who he is one day because he knows that God made him the way he wants to. I can't shape. I'm going to have a lot of influence as his father, but I think as a dad and the way that it has changed my heart, I just want to make sure that I do the best I can to give him opportunities to see how God wants him to live.
That's so cool.
I don't want to make him live the way that I want him to live.
That's it.
And I think unfortunately, a lot of parents and a lot of fathers project either their failures or their hopes for their life
That's a bar.
onto their kids.
1,000%.
And they're like, I want my kids to be able to go play college football, even though I couldn't do it and I wanted to. And then their son's like,
that kid may not be a football player.
Right. He's the best artist there ever was.
That kid may not be an artist.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
And I think that's where so much friction is caused between parents. And that's why, I will, again, until I have no breath in my lungs, give all the credit with that, my success as an athlete, to my parents.
Yeah.
Because my parents could have cared less if I went 5 for 5 with 5 homers, or if I struck out 5 times.
Right.
Did not matter.
Yeah.
I got treated the same when I got in the car,
Yep.
after the game, after practice, whatever, as long as I was giving my full effort.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's
I respect
right.
that so much because I played with so many guys at peewee level all the way through in the minor leagues that, dad or mom or both is just standing over there with an iron fist, if you don't get these 3 hits, you're not my son, you know what I mean? And there's so much friction that's caused by that.
Yeah.
So I think so much of a parent's identity can be wrapped up in their child when it's not up to us.
Right.
God made them the way that they are so that they
right.
can live their life.
Yep.
We're here to influence them to be the best people we can, right?
Yeah.
But I don't care what you do.
Right.
If you're happy, you're productive, you're trying your best, you're being a good human,
yeah,
you're going to have my support.
Absolutely.
I don't care if that's singing in the opera, playing in the big leagues, or selling pest control on the side of the road. It doesn't matter. Like if you're doing the things that you're called to do,
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where so many parents get it wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not a perfect parent, so everyone say that too.
Oh, yeah.
But my identity and my confidence in myself will never be wrapped up in my child. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I want my children to be who they are. I want them to be fulfilled. I want
Right.
them to be happy, enjoy life, all that. And I'll do whatever I can to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just not going to impress my wants and my failures on them in hopes that they do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, not at all. And I think that
it fires me up.
It just tears so many relationships apart.
It does.
And it also messes so many kids up.
It does.
You get into high school and you just got a parent who's just nagging on you all the time to be better, to try harder, and it's like,
and it ain't got to be sports. It can be grades. It can be this project. It can be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, but everyone is different. Everyone's got their own thing that they're incredibly gifted at.
100%.
Even if they haven't found it yet, And I just want my kids to see the love of God through me. Like I just want to love my kids the way that God loves me. And the way that He has called me to love, just to love my kids and to let them know that they can be confident, they can go after things, they can try to do the hard things, and they can make those same jumps and the same leaps of faith or different ones, that I made. I want them to have the confidence and the courage to know that your parents love you. We're always right here with you.
At the end of the day, like failure or success, we're going to be right here for you.
That's right.
That's
right.
Cool.
And I can't wait to see the failures. I can't wait to see the successes.
100%. Because you see the growth in both. You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
absolutely. There's never just one all the way path straight up to success. It's always little success, big failure. Yep. Big success, little failure. It's always peaks and valleys, and that's with everything. Whether it's a relationship, career, faith. Sometimes I don't have the strongest relationship with God every single day.
None of us
it's not the exact same. Some days I'm on my hands and knees talking to Him all day. It's all peaks and valleys, and it's how do you respond to the world, and how do you project love the way that God wants you to.
It's beautiful. So I don't think there's any really good way to follow that, to be honest with you, because that is, that's what it's all about, to be honest, as a dad and a parent. Man. I mean, that's what it's all about. So in closing, the one thing I will ask is if you could tell, I'm going to have this is a two-part.
Okay.
So if you could tell 12, 13-year-old Nick Lawson one thing now, what would that be? And then number two, anything that's top of mind for you that we haven't talked on that you want the people to hear from you today? So number one, 12-year-old, 13-year-old Nick Lawson.
12, 13-year-old me, I would have just said, sit down and talk to God. That's it.
Beautiful.
Just sit down and talk to God. That'll shape your life in ways you could never imagine, open doors you could never imagine, just give you confidence you could never imagine. Just sit down and talk to God.
Beautiful. What's top of mind for you? Final message for the audience here.
Yeah, top of mind is get after it. I mean, go out and enjoy life. It's hard enough as it is. I don't think that you need to make it harder on yourself by being down on yourself. Everybody can hate themselves more than anyone else does, but you can also pump yourself up more than anyone else can. You can get after things. You can go after opportunities and seize opportunities the way that you didn't think that you could. So I would say go after it. Chase your dreams, even if it's the biggest dream in the world. Chase it. If you fall short, you might be higher than where you were before. So I would say chase everything that you want to. And the number one thing is love your neighbor. Love the people that are around you. That's one of the reasons why I have the relationships that I do. Like a relationship with Mark here is just loving the people around you. Show them love. Give more than you get. Learn how to serve. And God's going to take care of the rest.
What a beautiful thing. Well, that statement there is just a testament to who Nick is, to be 100% honest with you. The people that know Nick knows that to be the case. But for those of you that may not know Nick at all or know him just a little bit, that's a testament to really who he is. So, Nick, thank you for being here today.
Hey, absolutely.
Proud of who you are. Appreciate all your help.
Absolutely. Love you, brother.
And proud to see where we go from here.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, please follow Nick at Nick Lawson Creative on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook, Nick Lawson, obviously. And one last ask before I let you go is if you will like, share, and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it is that you listen to it, would mean a lot to us. So, again, Nick, thank you for being here today.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you next time on The Mark Big Show.
Come on.